have armed yourself with what?
With AK, with the Kalashnikov rifle.
And do you know how to use it?
Well, I do know now. I've been training for now 3 days. So I'm mostly like a beginner user, though moving forward to intermediate, With the weapons, the main thing is how to operate it so you wouldn't hurt yourself or people around you, how to clean it and how to assemble it. And the smallest part is how to shoot it.
And do you know when you would be prepared to use it?
Well, I think I was ready like first day because the preparation is rather mental than physical, right? So once there is an enemy at your door, you just have to use everything to protect yourself and your city and your family.
We know that President Zelensky has been calling on Ukrainians to arm themselves, to make Molotov cocktails. Do you feel that most people will know how to use these weapons and will be clear about the circumstances in which they should be prepared to use them?
Well, I think they will, at least like most of the people will use it as a preparation and, sign of they feel that they are protected, because this is the most important part right now. We have our army whose job is to fight Russians.
Yeah.
And we have many people who are terrified. And this is the way for them to know that they are doing their part.
But it's also symbolic, isn't it? It's a kind of act of defiance of
course. So it's like when it's like it's a real resistance. And plus, look, every single day in the evening, I have calls with all the international partners, all the like high-end politicians all over the world who say, oh, they will take Kyiv this night. And every morning we are waking up and saying, watch us. We have many surprises for you, Putin. We have many surprises for you, world. And this also happens because of the resistance on every single step. So Putin was not ready to have like a long war, right? He just sent some troops, threw some missiles and saying, okay, like let's call it a blitzkrieg. And it didn't happen. And it didn't happen because at like every single stage, starting with people who are just sending our army the shots about like where the Russians are, up to people being partisans and destroying Russians whenever they can do that.
So with that in mind, this idea that the Russians have lost the initiative, that there is this resolve among the Ukrainians to fight back that they were not expecting. What is your response to the news breaking this morning of heavy fighting taking place in Kharkiv, Ukraine's second city?
Putin needs a win. He needs like something. It's been 4 days of war. He lost like about 4,000 men right now, and he needs anything. He needs to show like why did he come. And that's why he will intensify. We know that. And I know that Kharkiv will not fall. I deeply love people there, and I know that they are resisting as hell right now, and they will.
We've got very used to regular updates from President Zelensky. He tweets, selfies, videos to show that he is present in Kyiv and defiant. But there was no tweet from Zelensky this morning. Is there any sense of how the government is faring that you can give us?
Oh, no, there has been some videos today, like saying that Belarus, who is right now threatening us to declare war on us as well. And Zelensky made like a very good explanation on that. It honestly doesn't matter from whom to protect our country. We'll protect it anyway because it's ours.
And speaking of Belarus, the Kremlin has made an offer of peace negotiations with Ukraine in Belarus. What's your response to that offer?
Look, we have been at war with Russia for 8 years, like since they occupied Crimea and took some of our territories. We know that there is no price on Putin's word, that whatever peace agreement you make with him, it's just like doesn't worth even the price of the paper it is written in. That's why there is like no point in negotiation. He only understands the word of force, the word of power. And this is what we can give him. Because like once he puts his troops in Ukraine and then said, okay, let's sit and talk about peace. No.
With that in mind, then, what do you think is his end game? Is he, is he going to just continue to fight until Ukraine falls? Or, we know that he's a very, very proud person who doesn't like bad news. He has incredible resources when it comes to tanks, firepower, incredibly dangerous weapons. He's not going to give up, is he?
Well, that depends on how complicated the situation will be for him. So like 5 days ago, when there was no war, so in before war times, Putin had the support of all of his elites, right? Mm-hmm. He had his army and he had this very good negotiation position with the West. Right now, his banks are turned off of SWIFT. He has personal sanctions on main people in his surroundings. Russia is being economically isolated from the world. He's getting 1,000 people killed every day on Ukrainian soil. And he didn't have any wins since then. So his position right now is certainly weakened out. And especially that we still hope that we will get some Air Force protection from NATO. And so we will be able to fight him better. So right now, he's not in a very good position to be proud. He will have to deal with lots of issues that he will have inside the country related to economic items and related to people, to Russian oligarchs, not liking their children being returned from London or from United States, where they spend their lucky lives. And being said, now you have to spend your life in Sochi.
Well, you mentioned there the possibility of air support from NATO. What does Ukraine need from the international community now?
Well, the first and the foremost is the Air Force support or at least the no-fly zone over Ukraine. And this is the main thing. This is the main and the most important stuff, because we, as Churchill said, we are fighting them on land, and we are doing it very well. But we kind of have issues with fighting them in the air and fighting them in the sea. So this is where we need help, because right now all the shelling that is happening, this is really something that is an issue for Ukraine.
And finally, Kira Rudyk, you are very fired up. You've had your AK-47 for 3 days. You know how to use it. How long can this momentum last? Because surely at some point, the Ukrainian people are going to be exhausted.
So we anticipate, my personal opinion here, I'm not a war expert, but we anticipate that this cannot last long. First of all, for Putin, then for Ukrainian people. And this cannot last long. And I hope that by this time, I'm telling myself, just get over it for another 10 days, and then we will think. So this is what my plan is, to keep the crews fired up for another 10 days, and then we will see. I think so if we go the same way, 10 days is another 10,000 Russian soldiers. Well, let's see if Putin can provide us with more.